morning, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to Inspiration for Today. We're still out at RSM Lake and just having fun. In fact, look over here. These are my, I know I found one yesterday. Let's see if I can get him to go in the water. Go on in. Go, go, go. I did. Goose should be in the water. Hey, I'm just joking around with you because, well, actually, we like to have fun, don't we? That's one of the reasons we tune in, for all the variety of the places and things that we do. But this week, we're in the process of listening to Pastor Rick Warren in his Time to Dream series, and I know I'm being blessed by what we've heard. I hope you are too. You can always go back, YouTube/Inspiration for Today, and see the first two shows that dealt with the first part of the sermon that we're going to hear today. But this is also another day that it will stand alone and bless you if you stay tuned in, and I know you will. So have a great day. Listen and see what God has for you today, as I will do also. See you tomorrow.
Somehow, sometime during the night, during this struggle, evidently Jacob became aware that the one he is wrestling with is no ordinary individual. It's God. And if he's wrestling with God, then God can bless him. So now he's going, I'm not going to let go. I'm worn out. I'm just as tired as you are. But I'm not going to let go. Have you realized yet that the very God that you wrestle with when you go, God, I don't want to do that. I don't want to tithe. I don't want to trust you. I don't want to do your rules for sex. I don't want, whatever. God, I don't want to be kind to my enemies. I don't want to love people who persecute me. Have you realized yet that the very God you wrestle with is the one who gives you your great dream, and he's the one who will make it happen? You just got to come to a point of commitment. God isn't here to thwart the dream that he gave you, but he is here to get you ready for it. He is here to prepare you. And the way he prepares you is to strengthen your character, to build your stamina, to deepen your patience, to increase your resilience. Now, obviously, God could have, if this is God wrestling Jacob, and we find out it is, he could have easily overpowered him. So when he goes, I can't overpower you, of course God could have overpowered him. And he could have ended the match instantly. But God lets the struggle go on. What's the lesson here? When God uses a crisis to get your attention, he often doesn't resolve it immediately. Now, this always bugs us, but he waits a while. He lets us wrestle till dawn. Why? Because he wants to see if you really mean business. Do you really want his blessing? Do you really want his dream for your life? Do you really want God's plan and purpose for you more than you want anything else? When you say, God, I've got to have it. I've got to have it. I'm not going to let go until you bless me. I've got to know the purpose of my life. I've got to know your dream for my life. And that's when God says, okay, now we're talking. This is phase 2, commitment. God tests my faith, my trust, and my sincerity. What if God answered every prayer in your life immediately? Then you would treat God like a vending machine. You would be a spoiled brat. Put in the prayer, pull the button, get whatever you want. God is not your genie. And so it doesn't happen when the things that God wants to give you, he doesn't just, your wish is my command, and snap and everything, you've got it. You'd be a spoiled brat. Also, the problems that you have in your life, you didn't get them instantly. You took time getting them. The place you're in right now took a lot of steps to get there. You didn't get into debt supernaturally, like all of a sudden, boom, I'm in debt. No, you made a lot of decisions that got you deep into debt. Did you notice I read there where it said he dislocated his hip? As I said, that had to be pretty painful. Listen, the pain in your life is preparing you for God's dream. God wants to build your character. God wants to teach you persistence. Many people miss God's best because they give up too soon. They give up too soon. They're not willing to wrestle till dawn. They're not willing to say, I'm not letting go until you bless me. They pray one time and, well, God didn't answer my prayer and I stop. Or they pray twice and then, oh, God didn't answer my prayer. Or they pray for a month and they say, God didn't answer my prayer. They miss God's best because they give up too soon. You don't know how long God is going to test your faith. But you do know this promise from Galatians chapter 6, let us not become weary in doing good. For at the proper time, in other words, God knows the right time. He's never late. He knows the proper time. We will reap a harvest if we do not give up. So what I want to say to you as your pastor who loves you, your spiritual coach, don't give up. Don't give up. Hang in there. This is a test. Going through a crisis where you're having to wrestle some hard issues, okay, phase 1. Having to wrestle till dawn and you get your hip dislocated, there's a little pain going on, okay, don't give up. Hang on. This is a test. It took years for you to get in the mess you're in. You didn't develop all your hang-ups overnight. They're ingrained patterns. They're deeply built in fears. And God often has to remove the junk in our lives layer by layer. It's kind of like peeling an onion. Peel it one layer at a time. That, by the way, is the value of a good, godly, biblical counselor. Because sometimes it takes a long time before we wise up and then we give up to God. Phase 1, a crisis. We struggle, we wrestle with issues, with problems in our lives, and really beneath all that is our issue with God. We want to be God. And then phase 2, God tests our commitment and our faith and our trust. Then we come to phase 3. And the third phase in the struggle for God to get you ready. We're talking about getting ready for the big dream. You're not ready for the dream God has for your life. Phase 3 is the confession phase. Crisis, commitment, confession. This is the third thing that Jacob did. I admit that I am my own biggest problem. I admit that I am my biggest problem. When you finally go, God, I realize I'm the big problem here. It's not my brother or my sister. It's me, oh Lord, standing in the need of prayer. It's not my husband, not my parents, not my kids. It's me, oh Lord, that I'm causing a lot of these problems by my reactions. Now, when you get to this third phase, the confession phase, where I admit that I'm the biggest problem in my life. I cause myself more problems than anybody else causes me. I do it through my own insecurities, my own fears, resentments, shame, guilt, whatever, worry, anxiety. When I admit that I am my own biggest problem, this is the breakthrough. And this is the breakthrough in your struggle. This is the breakthrough in your wrestling match. There is no victory in your wrestling match until you admit it. Here's the verse 27 of Genesis 32. So the man asked Jacob, what is your name? Jacob says, my name is Jacob, he answered. Now, isn't that a strange request? I mean, they've been wrestling all night. They don't know each other's names. Obviously, God knows Jacob's name. Anytime God asks you a question, it's never for his benefit. He already knows the answer, all right? So he knew Jacob's name. He knew every second of Jacob's life. He thought him up. He'd seen every moment of his life, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So this is a strange request because God obviously already knows Jacob's name. Why does he say, what is your name? Well, you need to understand that in ancient times, your name was a description of your character. Nobody was named without meaning in ancient times. Your name was your label. It was the label of your character. It was your brand. Now, in Jacob, his name in Hebrew, Jacob originally meant in Hebrew, deceiver or manipulator. All of his life, Jacob had lived up to his name.